More than 25 years ago, leading alcohol distillers in the United States joined together to form the Foundation for Advancing Alcohol Responsibility. Its mission was to fight drunk driving and underage drinking, and to promote responsible decision-making regarding alcohol. Known today as Responsibility.org, we've used research and resources and raised awareness through campaigns designed to make a real difference, a difference that can be measured in lives saved. Responsibility isn't easy to define. 93% of Americans who drink believe they do so responsibly. But what does that mean? We wanted to find out. We traveled to Seattle, Dallas, and Chicago to talk with community stakeholders. We knew we would hear certain views and expressions. Don't drive drunk, don't drink underage, and others. But participants told us that no single definition of responsibility fits everyone.
I'm fascinated to hear the diversity of voices of people, different ages, high school students, different professions, judges, talking about the commonality of being concerned about the need to be responsible in terms of alcohol use. And I think it's tapped something of the collective unconscious that wants to be expressed. And so I think it's a great thing to provide a vehicle for people to sit down around the table and share ideas and try to come up with solutions, or at least positive approaches, which is wonderful, very constructive.
It's really opened my eyes that alcohol responsibility is a far broader subject and is different to different people.
It should be proactive instead of reactive, they suggested. Positive instead of negative.
Trying to do with prevention is not talk so much from a do this and don't do this and kind of a finger wagging type standpoint to really educating people about something that they don't know about.
Participants were convinced, and convinced us, that there needed to be a better way of naming and framing the issue. Defining alcohol responsibility is just part of the challenge. Responsibility only exists when it's placed in context. And our conversations focus carefully on the circumstances that should be considered when trying to define what responsibility means. Participants said that age, gender, health, and settings all play roles when it comes to defining alcohol responsibility, but they identified other factors too. Family, culture, and religion play important roles in individual perceptions of responsibility. Interestingly, geography plays an important role that's not always considered. We learned that people who live in Seattle are committed to a healthy outdoor lifestyle where alcohol has a place, but they're also aware of the role that Seattle public transportation plays in their enjoyment of their unique craft food and drink scene. Our Chicago conversation sounded different, with participants there talking about the character and identities of individual Chicago neighborhoods and the reality of Chicago winters.
Clearly we're still seeing the neighborhoods and the cultures and ethnic immigrant neighborhood behaviors continuing today.
And in Dallas, the redevelopment of the downtown area has created new communities built around an urban lifestyle, where residents can live, sleep, work, exercise, eat and drink without ever leaving a 4-block radius.
Texas is so different and so big. Each region of the United States is going to be very different, and I think definitely having these open conversations, you know, in all parts of the United States, so that you can really kind of see the differences of people's attitudes and what their thoughts are.
Where you live and how you live matters. What about the alcohol industry itself? Participants acknowledged and applauded industry efforts, but they also worried about the pervasiveness of ads and the problems that can arise in public settings such as major sporting or entertainment events. The takeaway from our conversations is that the alcohol industry does a lot, but can and should always be doing more. Finally, we heard very insightful and provocative discussions about what alcohol responsibility means in the ever-changing workplace. Young people are especially challenged because they lack the skills and experience to manage workplace pressures, set limits on their drinking, and observe the social norms of the office. Some participants suggested human resources could play a larger and more impactful role in helping employees understand alcohol responsibility. They focus on issues such as smoking cessation and managing obesity. Why not address alcohol responsibility too? Where do we go from here, and what does the conversation sound like? Nearly 60 community leaders in 3 major U.S. cities offered insights into the challenges they face each day, but they also shared their visions about the future of alcohol responsibility. More outreach, regular conversations, and growing the number of people engaging in this conversation should be a top priority. Employers should also be brought into the conversation because employee health and responsible alcohol consumption are key to healthy lifestyles of the future. And the future of alcohol responsibility can be influenced and shaped by new technologies. These technologies can help people understand what alcohol responsibility means in real time. Technology's impact on alcohol responsibility is still evolving, but we have an opportunity to understand how to make it work for everyone. This is an important conversation. Community leaders in Seattle, Dallas, and Chicago believe that, and we were so humbled by their appreciation for our efforts to lead this conversation.
I really like the idea of FAR bringing together people with varied backgrounds, because that is something that is sorely missing in a lot of these kinds of campaigns.
They saw for themselves that there was no agenda, no list of recommendations to be voted up or down, no attempt to recruit them to one side of an issue or another, and no attempt to get everyone on board to our points of view. We did something different. We listened. As stewards of a national effort to educate, promote, and foster alcohol responsibility, this discussion was fundamental. Our participants agreed it has been needed, but so far, no one has stepped forward to lead it. Until now. We've taken the first steps to lead, to reach more communities, to discover new perspectives, to listen, to make progress.
I think I have a renewed sense of responsibility to go back to my school and really work with our administration on how do we get all of the adults in our building, including 150 teachers, on board with what message are we sending to our students about alcohol and responsible drinking.
What is responsibility now? It's about behavior and perspective, not just science and math. It's about context and individuality, not generalities. It's different for everyone. And a single message or slogan or logo won't speak to everyone in the same way. It can't. It shouldn't. That's what we've learned through our inaugural open conversations. But we're only getting started.